What is your financial net worth?
I am worth about 87 million Kenya shillings. I, Sabdido Bashuna, do swear that the information I shall give before this Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and... Yes, Honorable Chair.
Have you complied with the clearance from Office of Registrar of Political Parties?
Yes, Honorable Chair.
Have you complied with clearance from the Higher Education Loans Board?
Yes, Honorable Chair.
Have you complied with clearance from Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission?
Yes, Honorable Chair.
Have you been charged in a court of law or convicted?
No, Honorable Chair.
Have you been adversely mentioned in an investigatory or parliamentary report?
No, Honorable Chair.
Do you hold a dual citizenship?
No, Honorable Chair.
What is your financial net worth?
I am worth about 87 million Kenya shillings.
Okay. Start your story from North Hor to possibly Gaborone. Let's listen to the story of your life in brief.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My name is Sabdido Bashuna. I hail from North Hor, constituency of Marsabit County. Honorable Chair, as you mentioned quite clearly, North Hor is certainly very far away from here and also from Gaborone. So it's really an honor and a privilege for me to be here before your esteemed committee today to present myself, having been nominated to be the High Commissioner for Kenya in Gaborone, Botswana. I started off from North Hor Primary School. I finished North Hor Primary School in 1983. Mr. Chair, North Hor Primary School was one of the oldest primary schools in North Hor. It's actually a school that was run by missionaries, and I pay special tribute to the missionaries in North Hor, in particular, Madam Hildegard Helmer, who was our foster mother, who saw us through that school and through the secondary school, which is St. Teresa's Wamba. St. Teresa's Wamba was also a Catholic school, and it was actually the best school, girls' school within that region at the time. Many of us who have made it through school actually went through that school. I finished Form 4. I led my class, Mr. Chair, from Form 1 to Form 4. And at Form 4 also, I led my class in KCSE exams, having acquired Division 1 of 20 points. And then I proceeded on to Bishop Gatimu Ngandu Girls High School, where I studied science, maths, biology, and chemistry, and I came out with 7 points. Mr. Chair, I then proceeded on to Egerton University, where I did my diploma in farm management. And after that diploma, I got an excellent opportunity to join a GTZ project in Marsabit, current Marsabit County. At the time, it was Marsabit District, and that was where my career began in development. I will just revisit my career shortly, Mr. Chair. Allow me to say a little bit about my family. I am a mother of 3, 2 girls and 1 boy. I am widowed since 2013, and from 2013, I just took the responsibility to raise my children, and since then I am single. And I just come back to my career. So just one more thing about my family. My late husband was a government officer. He was a senior government officer with Kenya Police. At his death, he was an assistant commissioner of police serving here at Vigilance House. Mr. Chair, after my GTZ engagement, this is a little bit about my professional career. After my GTZ engagement, I worked mainly within agri-food systems. At the time, we called it farming systems development. Mount Marsabit has agricultural potential. There are small pockets of agricultural potential. So I was hired to work within the agriculture sector. Even then, it was still very rudimentary, but that was my work. I did that for 6 years, and after that, I stopped work, and I got a sponsorship to go and do my bachelor's. That's when I did my bachelor's in agriculture economics at Egerton University. After Egerton University, I got a job with SMV, the Netherlands Development Organization, and I served very many different positions, actually about 6 different positions. Mr. Chair, the most important thing to point out is that through my work also at SNV and also throughout, I work very hard, I excel at my work, and through that, I actually have not spent more than 3 years in one position throughout my career. I have been able to move through the ranks to senior levels. And after SNV, I moved to the Netherlands. I got a job with CTA, the Technical Center for Agriculture and Rural Cooperation. It is a European Union and Africa, Caribbean, and Pacific member state organization. It's one of the multilateral organizations at the EU level, together with ACP. And here also I worked within agriculture development across Africa, but also across Caribbean, Pacific, Africa, Caribbean, and Pacific. That was actually the area of work. And after CTA, I moved back to the continent because I really wanted to give my expertise to the continent and my expertise to Africa. So I moved back and I took a job with AGRA. And currently, I am the Director for Youth, Gender, and Inclusiveness at the Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa. I'm based in Kigali, Rwanda. So that is a bit my person and also my career, Mr. Chair.
We will be taking 2 questions at a time or comments, and then you'll respond to them, and then we'll take the next set. I'll start with Honorable Memusi, then Honorable Wangari.
Thank you, Chair. Ms. Sabdido, congratulations for your appointment, your nomination, sorry. And you've really come from far among all the people that have come before this committee. And this is my own opinion. I think you deserve the opportunity. Having said that, you are a pastoralist, and so am I. And that will be my first interest. Botswana has succeeded in an area that we are still fumbling with. In the 1980s, Botswana Meat Commission came to benchmark in Kenya with our Kenya Meat Commission that is now struggling to stay afloat. Where do you think we have failed as a country on this sector? And how do you think we can catch up, if ever, with countries like Botswana? Catching up, I mean, Botswana is one of the African countries that is able to access the EU market. And if you look at the stringent requirements to access those markets and look at where we are as a country, you can almost give up. given your experience in this country, in the organizations that you've worked in, and with the knowledge of devolved governments, do you think there's anything you can do if this committee approves you and the House approves you? Is there anything you can do in this sector to help our farmers access such lucrative markets? Thank you.
2 questions. Number 1, you have done a lot of work with women and youth. I have also seen you had a stab in running for a position which did not work out. What do you think? Because there's a time Botswana used to have a lot of Kenyans working there, especially as teachers, as nurses. And as a country, we are still grappling with unemployment and the issue of labor exchange. So what would you do, if approved by this committee and consequently the House, to improve that, also considering that you have also worked for quite some time, like in Agra, you have over 20 years experience. What would you do differently to ensure that you can still tap that market and have placements for Kenyans looking for opportunities even in Botswana? And secondly, how would you describe, would you just enumerate for me the pillars for our foreign policy? Thank you, Chair.
Please respond and keep it brief.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair and the honorable members. On the question from Honorable Kanchori on the Botswana Meat Commission, yes, indeed, Botswana Meat Commission did actually visit us, and they adopted our strategy for developing their meat sector, their beef sector. And to date, Mr. Chair, it is correct that Botswana is one of the 2 African countries actually that exports beef to the European Union. There are a number of issues, Mr. Chair, that Botswana has done that we could learn from. One is the improvement of the breeds of cattle. They have superior beef breeds. We have a lot of traditional cattle. I come from a pastoralist community, and I understand. I have worked in this country also with pastoralist communities, and I do understand, Honorable Member, indeed, we do need to improve the breeds. But that is not enough, because improved breeds require better husbandry practices. And our cattle is at the moment kept in a traditional setup where every time there's a drought, our cattle numbers go down. Because they are kept in a traditional setup, there isn't a feedlot that provides ready feed during drought. So our numbers go down. This is what, and the other thing that is certainly different is the phytosanitary conditions, the disease-free zones. This is what Botswana has got clearly, and they have implemented it. Mr. Chair, we will learn a lot from Botswana in how to manage our beef and in how to improve the breeds, but most importantly, how to feed and how to improve the phytosanitary conditions around our beef so that we are able to meet the standards of EU. I worked within the EU area, and I know that the rules are very stringent when it comes to food. But if Botswana can do it, we can do it too. So one of the things that I'm immediately going to do is to try to link our 2 sectors. Mr. Chair, within our bilateral relations, we have, under our joint partnership Commission for Cooperation, we have a provision to develop MOUs within various sectors that we would want to partner with Botswana. So livestock is actually not one of the sectors that has an MOU through which we can learn together. So one of the things that I'm immediately going to do is we have the 6th Joint Partnership Commission for Cooperation coming up. So that's one of the things that I'm taking immediately, and I will certainly take on the agenda around livestock. I know that we have a huge asset that can benefit us as a country only if we improve the production systems around livestock, we improve the meat, the beef production, we improve the disease-free zones, we improve the phytosanitary conditions around our meat so that we're able to attract high-value markets like the ones in EU. To the question from Honorable Wanjira, apologies if I got the name. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Honorable. Mr. Chair, the question is around women and youth and the issue of employment. This is a subject that is very, very close to my heart, and I have worked my entire career actually around women and youth and how they can access better markets, how they can access employment, how they can improve their livelihoods. Now, when Botswana got independence, Kenya did provide huge skill to really to get their country up. And Botswana did take the chance and took quite a lot of people from Kenya to build its own human capital. But so we had at one point about 10,000 Kenyans working in Botswana. And the Kenyan human capital was very much appreciated, very much appreciated. But over time, Mr. Chair, that number has gone down. And up to now, we have about 2,000 Kenyans working in Botswana. And the reason is that, first of all, the performance of the economy, of course, is slowing down in Botswana as well. But, and also because Botswana is also building its own human capital, therefore they are trying to reduce the number of external workers. So this is not unique to Kenya. It's really a general policy that the government has. But Botswana is a very good, friendly country to Kenya. And so one of the things that we will negotiate is how we can sort of formalize the relationship on labor mobility from Kenya to Botswana. At the moment, this is not very well structured. It's also been left to individual engagements. But once we structure it within our bilateral relations, Mr. Chair, there will be opportunity for us to negotiate to have more Kenyans, skilled Kenyans, come in and also help Botswana build its human capital. So yes, indeed, there is an opportunity for us to increase the number of Kenyans that can work within Botswana. Work permits are increasingly becoming a challenge because they are also restricting the number of outsiders. But this is something that could be negotiated within a bilateral agreement. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is not a question but a comment. I must say that I am particularly so impressed with this candidate because of her mastery of subject as pertains to agriculture and matters to do with herders. I have noted from her CV that she has quite a number of publications on the subject, up to and including a study on camel milk. You know, this speaks volume as to her passion to a subject that she believes in. And I believe if she employs the same passion as to the subject we're speaking to today, then of course we have gotten ourselves the person we've looked for years to represent our country in Gaborone. Chair, just allow me. I'm not done. That was a
vetting process.
An ongoing.
You're on camera, live TV.
Yes. I have no apologies to make. Because I believe I am completely.
We are in a vetting process. A vetting process is to seek suitability, not to heap praises on a nominee. But proceed.
You have interfered with my flow of thoughts, Chair. But anyway, I must say that I'm impressed with this kind of a passion. And if the nominee then is going to employ the same passion to her job, then I believe that we are on the right track. But nevertheless, maybe just peradventure, based on your studies, have you done any studies on goat milk?
First and foremost, I want to congratulate my dear sister for the nomination. And coming from the pastoralist community, I think you are a good example to the girl child. And even as we finish this and go back and do a report, I'm hoping that you'll be able to get the chance. Having listened to your, having looked at your CV and as well listened to your opening remarks, especially you mentioned that you've not been able to stay in a job for more than 3 years without getting a senior promotion, and that is exemplary. So if this committee passes and confirms your nomination, what will you do differently from your predecessor? And finally, what are some of the possible collaborations between Botswana and Kenya? Thank you, Chair.
You know, our nominee Sabdido, why I'm very harsh on Kwenya is he's been quoted today, actually, in the newspapers, as saying that this committee is not going to rubber stamp any nominee. So, and it has been used as a voice of the committee. And I actually sent him today a WhatsApp message and said thumbs up because of all the hard questions. But now, anyway, Honorable Lawyer.
Thank you. I do not have a question, but just a comment that I was going through some write-up about Botswana, and I realized that it is one of the largest diamond producers in the world. Kenya is doing well in terms of gold mining, but we are still way far away from what Botswana is doing in their mining sector. My request is kindly do some networks for us so that we can also copy something from Botswana so that we can enrich our mining sector in Kenya, because I also come from a mining environment where we also do gold. So we need to copy something from Botswana. If it means doing a benchmarking, so be it. So kindly, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I just wanted to say, though, that there is a study on goat milk. So I'm happy to refer the Honorable Member to it. Thank you so much. So the foreign policy has 5 pillars. It has the peace pillar, it has the economic pillar, it has cultural pillar, it has environmental pillar, and it has what is the 5th one? I said it has the peace pillar, it has economic pillar, it has cultural pillar, environmental pillar. Yeah, those are 5, right? 4. Yeah, okay. And so for Botswana, what do we get from Botswana? So from Botswana we have Botswana is really one of the friendly countries, and we have a very, very good and warm relationship. So within our bilateral agreements, we have 3 key agenda. The first one is trade. At this moment, the balance of trade is in our favor, Mr. Chair, and we intend to continue to boost that because there's a lot more opportunity for us to export our tea, our coffee, our flowers, our vegetables and fruits, because of course Botswana has very limited agricultural potential. We have a huge agricultural potential. So that is one agenda that we are going to take up. At the moment, restrictions around trade is related to the South African Customs Union, because it's really, Botswana is part of the South African Customs Union, and it's also part of the SADC, the South African Development Community. We are not part of SADC, so there is a tripartite agreement that is in the process of being ratified by various countries. This is the East African Community, SADC, and COMESA tripartite agreement. Once that agreement is ratified by all the countries, then that will open up a huge market for us. So we are actually eyeing that, and we will prepare for that. The second agenda is really about our diaspora. You've seen that we have a large diaspora in Botswana, so that's the second agenda that our commission is going to take, to make sure that we take care of the welfare of Kenyans, to make sure that they have opportunities in those countries, to make sure that they are responded to in terms of the services that the state is giving. And our third agenda is really around capacity building and sharing of experiences and learnings. Just as we have said earlier, Mr. Chair, we have an opportunity to learn from them once more on livestock sector, on the mining sector, and they have also lots of opportunities to learn from us on the defense side, collaborations around the police, and collaborations around education. Actually, Botswana does send its staff, the civil servants. Some of them actually do come to our colleges here. There are students that are studying here. So we have those. So these are our our 3 main agenda for our High Commission. In terms of what we will do differently, Mr. Chair, I will certainly bring the same zeal and hard work and dedication to this particular posting. As I said earlier, Mr. Chair, it's really an honor and a privilege for me to be presented with this opportunity, and I'm going to make the best of it for Kenya and the best of it for Kenyans. So I'll bring the same zeal and understanding, and also ensure that these same areas, I have a lot of experience now through my career in agriculture, in development, in engagements with governments, and governments, not only Kenya government, I engage with governments across Africa. I engage with governments. When I was in Europe, I was working with an EU institution, so we were engaging with governments there. So we'll bring all these experiences together to make sure that I serve Kenya. On diamond mining, indeed, Botswana is really one of the leading producers of diamond, and they have a very vibrant diamonds mining sector, also that includes copper and nickel. So we'll certainly bring those experiences to Kenya. So we'll develop the collaboration, and part of this bilateral collaboration that we are going to start off with, mining will certainly be part of it, and we'll try to learn as much as we can from them. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
My name is Major Bashir Abdullahi, Member of Parliament, Mandera North, and the Vice Chair of this committee. I guess I can interrogate you. I've gone through your CV before. I can see you have worked with international organizations, and you have much experience working in the civil service. And you're going to a place where you will be working internally with the commission in terms of the staff, who are all career civil servants, most probably. Do you think the lack of having not worked with the civil service would hinder your job, and that the mindset of working with organizations, IOs for that matter, probably will hinder or will be another advantage to you?
Starting off with the last question around my experience with governments, Mr. Chair, I have worked in international organizations. I have worked with the bilateral organizations. By design, bilateral organizations work with governments. So I have engaged with governments, not as a mainstream government worker, but I have engaged with governments in a bilateral relationship. I have engaged with governments in multilateral relationship. When I was at EU Institute, we were actually working within a multilateral agreement that is called the Cotonou Agreement. So I have engaged with governments from this perspective, and I know governments from these engagements that I have. But most importantly, I have been director of 2 state agencies, the National Environment Management Authority and the Wasonyiro North Development Agency. And in both the institutions, the agencies, I've actually been a vice board chair, and I've engaged with the government systems when I was also at the board level with these institutions. But additionally, Mr. Chair, my experience across the globe, because I've worked within Europe, I've worked in Africa, I have engaged with Asia as well, my experience will be extremely helpful, in my view, to this new position, because we also need an outsider perspective to really try to bring urgency to what we do, to really try to bring results to what we do, to really try to bring value from what we do. So my experience will be very helpful in really bringing this additional value to the Kenya government and to Kenya people. I have been looking for an opportunity to serve my country. I've had an opportunity to work everywhere else. I've been looking for an opportunity to give back my experience and my expertise to my country, Mr. Chair, and this position gives me that chance. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you, may I appreciate the committee and the questions and the insights that I have got through this committee. If this committee approves my nomination, I am very, very honored and privileged to be working with this committee and to engage with this committee much more. I would be very, very happy to see the committee members also visit Botswana to see how we can advance Kenya's strategic agenda. So thank you so much, and it is my honor and privilege to appear before your committee, Mr. Chair. Today, I am accompanied by my sister here, Buke Bashuna, my brother-in-law here, Damocha Dibo, my nephew here, Dube Molu, and my cousin, Howard Damocha. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This committee then will consider it. We leave it to the wisdom of this committee to collectively decide if your suitability or otherwise. Between now and then, we wish you all the best. Be on your prayers. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
More radio, 88.2 FM. We are in charge.